What can I call him? What do we call him before? Mr. What?
Capture coach.
The capture coach is in the building. Well, we're not in the building. We're in rural Essex, I should say, with a pretty autumn scene behind us. So, what's happening? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad.
It's been a short while, I think, to be fair, since we spoke last, isn't it?
Yeah. Been on the camera a little bit and some little silly outtakes during a few of your episodes, but personally sitting here in front of the camera, no, you haven't seen me for a little while, yeah.
Yeah, man. But no, I thought this would be a good time to have a chat with you, because people probably don't know, but you have sort of moved on to the next stage of your fishing journey over the last sort of 6 months. And although you still have quite a close connection with the chase and you do get a session in over there every so often, I wanted to catch up with you about your own campaign, to see how that's been going. And don't get me wrong, the three of us that are here now kind of know how that's gone so far, but I want you to tell everybody else what you've been up to over the last 6 months. So let's set the scene. Back in April of this year, you got your new ticket for your new Syndicate. Tell me how you felt and what was your approach?
Yeah, leading up to getting the new ticket, I spoke to one of my other friends who sort of pushed me in the direction of getting a ticket there. I sort of knew about the lake before. My cousin had fished it when he was younger, but it's sort of a dead man's shoes sort of place. No one sort of knows too much about it. So yeah, I got the ticket. Knew there was some nice fishing there. Not much of a big stock, but there was enough to go for. So yeah, I was excited. Felt a little bit guilty leaving the chase, as I have quite a few ties there. The boys still fish there, so I always pop in and out over there, and I know the bailiffs and that there, so I thought, right, it's time to move on. Managed to not get the ticket for a while actually, due to lockdown, so that put my excitement back, but it just built. It was just like chucking logs on the fire. I could get to the lake and see it via a country park, but I couldn't get too close. I couldn't get on there, so I walked around it a few times, climbed the trees, was looking over, but it was not like actually seeing it for the real thing. Then got the message that, we was able to renew, or I was able to get my ticket, go and pay for it, have a look around. So done that, got that out of the way. So yeah, we was coming towards the end of lockdown, so we was able to get the rods out and actually be able to fish. So yeah, I was raring to go. Probably chewed the fat with Josh and Rick for weeks and hours about what I was gonna do, the swims that I was gonna go in and everything. As I say, the person that pushed me in the way of getting there, I spoke to him regularly about the lake. So as much as I didn't fish the lake, I knew the fish that were in there. I knew that when they was coming out. So I always had that advantage. That little bit of homework as well, which is always quite key, I think, when you're going to somewhere, but I still wanted it to be a mystery. So that played like a massive part on it. So yeah, managed to get there, first session, wandered around for hours, getting lost, managed to settle into a swim and didn't have nothing, but didn't bother me. It was just nice to be there really, get in the mix of things. Met a couple of other anglers, obviously at a distance, said hello, but I was in this mindset that, not even to be rude, I don't really want to talk to many people.
The fact that you went over there and sort of had your own plan in place, despite having contacts at the lake giving you information, I think that was a good move from you. Like the fact that you went there with an open mindset and said, no, I'm going to do my own thing first to see how that unfolds. And
yeah, so obviously you speak to regulars and the people that was on the lake fishing, and as I say, from a distance, you ask questions, you try and find out. And I used a fish meal bait at the start, and I'd taken it to every lake I'd gone to and never ever had a problem with it. Speaking to certain members, our fish mills don't work. Ain't never caught fish on here. Don't spoil that particle don't work. So it's, you know, the usuals. So I'm thinking, okay, fair enough. But in the back of my hand, I'm still thinking, how can a fish mill not work? The fish are eating it. So stuck to the guns, used the fish mill bait, and managed to have 2 fish. One was on my second session, a nice £25 common, little ghosty. So yeah, I was over the moon with that. Then I started to see fish show in an area of the lake that hadn't been fished for a very long time. The swim was overgrown, couldn't really get into it. So one day I said to Josh, I'm gonna cut that swim. So yeah, cut it back, managed to fish in it, and I nicked one out of there. So that would have been my second fish. And that was probably end of May, start of June maybe. So managed to do that. Fished in there for a little bit, then got told it was a bit of a swim that you shouldn't really fish in because it fishes into other people's water. So I felt like a little school kid, to be honest, so I didn't really go back in there. Chucked me toys at the pram, had a moan up to Josh and to Rick, but it was it. I thought, right, I have to go and find something else now. So yeah, went off, and for the next couple of sessions, I'm lucky enough to fish 2-3 nights a week with work. So I chased the fish ridiculously for days. I was in and out of swims each day, moving on to shows, and it was something I said I wasn't going to do, and I ended up doing it. But you learn. In a way, it did help me because it showed me where the fish was in certain weather conditions, certain days. So it added to everything that I needed to know. I took 2-3 weeks off. We had a social planned with the boys over at Star Valley. Myself, Rick, Josh, my other pal Ben, and Snedden and Connor. So there was a few of us there. Done Monday to Friday, I think, 4 nights. And yeah, the main aim was just to go, have a laugh, sort of put the Syndicate to the back of my head a little bit, really. Barbecues all week, laugh and giggles with the boys, a couple of beers, you know how it goes. Managed 5 fish that week. Yeah, 5 fish, which was a bonus. Couldn't complain about that. 2 lovely mirrors, low 20s. A few of the boys had a few. Josh done really well, which I was quite buzzing for actually, because he hadn't really been getting on the fish too much before that. But everything come to fruition there, and he got his luck. Then it was a case of getting back to the Syndicate. Where did I start, really? I had a focus of one certain part of the lake, quite deep, quite snaggy, unfished really. People say it scares them to fish in there, really. I don't know. Maybe because it's quite secluded. If the fish are in there, they're in there. They'll show on you, but there's a chance that they'll move out. And when that happens, you're sitting there doing nothing really. But that's the gamble that you take. So I set out to focus really on that part of the lake, but weather conditions didn't really put it in my favour to get in there. So I flitted in and out. There was 1 week where the pressure was quite low, and I thought it's ideal to be in that part. Done 4 nights. It's meant to be 2 nights, but plans got messed up. Managed to get an extra 2 nights in, which I can't really moan about. But nothing come from it. I was a bit disheartened as well, to be fair, because it just looked so bang on. Rigs went out perfect, bait went out perfect, and every morning I was getting up and I was thinking, where are they? They're showing on me, they're fizzing. Get to like 8 o'clock and I'm like ringing Josh, I'm like, they're fizzing on me, they're showing, they're doing this, they're doing that. They're not having it. Lucky enough, the bailiff was fishing next door to me as well, and he didn't have nothing as well. So it sort of made me feel a little bit better. But again, it was just like, when am I gonna get a bite, or when is this moment gonna come? And I kept just plodding away. As I say, I get 2-3 nights a week. So I'm coming up to now probably end of September. So it's starting to get a little bit colder. The weather's getting a little bit more carpy, as people like to say. We're all excited to be out on the bank. And again, another few sessions, nothing. So again, it's them disheartening phone calls to Josh and to Rick, and they're there saying like, it's gonna happen, keep going. I'm like, how much keep going can you do, sort of thing? Like, I ain't even getting a beat, not a liner. I'm like, well, what else is there like to keep me going, you know? It wasn't a part where I felt like I was gonna give up. That was never gonna happen, but it was just that, give me something. Like, I've even hooked one and lost it at the net. At least it would have been something that I could have gone off. But yeah, nothing materialised. Then we got into October. Some big weather, some serious weather was coming in. I think it was like 10 days before, Ben sent a picture of it into the WhatsApp group, and all of us straight away, boom, within like 2 minutes, we're we're fishing. Everyone's like, I'm at work trying to get my shift so that I can have this period of time off, and everyone's there focused. Then it's like, right, everything prep work now is make sure that, you know, the rods are done. I've got rigs tied, my bait's prepped. Coming into, as well, talking about bait, it's coming into that time of year where people don't really put a lot of bait out. Some people do. I've said it before, and I'm not shy to say it, I bait heavy. And it works. I can't say, as I say, I have many blank sessions, and that is with baiting as well. And sometimes I think, well, if I didn't put as much bait out, would I have caught? Who knows? It's a guessing game. But that's what I do. So it was a case then of, how do I now approach it? It's getting colder. The fish are getting heavier. I didn't think the particle was going to work anymore. I touched on that previously, using a particle before. So it was a case of, right, I'm going to get the Fran stick out. The Fran stick and the catapult. I fish hinges anyway. I fish them all year round. Fished them for years. And confidence in them is unbelievable. So yeah, it was back to basics really. Catapult, Fran stick, 80mm boilies, glugged up, powdered, oiled, weeks in advance, so they was ready, they was prepped, they were soft, it was there. Managed to finished work, I think it was a Tuesday, maybe, Tuesday afternoon. No, I had the Tuesday off actually. Managed to get to the lake actually about 10 o'clock in the morning. Had an idea where I was gonna go, but I wanted to have a look around, have a walk. I knew Tuesday, I knew there could be a few other members on. But you know which members are going to be fishing at what days. There's not many of us that fish during the week. And out of respect to them and other anglers, I guess, and other members on the lake, if they see you doing something in certain places, you know, they sort of keep it to themselves. I'm a bit like that. If I see someone doing something, I won't jump on the back of it. I let them do what they've got to do. Just out of principle for them, really. I wouldn't really want it done to me. But it's fishing, it happens sometimes. So yeah, I knew that there could possibly be three people on. Got damn lucky enough there weren't a soul on the lake. So my walk around went from being not fast paced, but to a gentle stroll, sitting in most swims, having a chill out. But in the back of my mind, I knew where I wanted to go. So yeah, finished the walk around, sat in the swim for a little while, had no rush really to get the rods out. Just plodding along, making sure the rigs were perfect and steamed. I think I spoke to Josh. He asked me where I was. Had I seen anything? There'd been a few show. I said that to him. I think I spoke to Rick as well. I think Rick might have even been fishing himself. So yeah, I spoke to him as we do most times that we go fishing or when we're on the bank. Constant text messages and ringing or FaceTime and just catching up really. So yeah, managed to get the rods out. Nothing happened that night. Woke up about 5 o'clock. They were shying over me, thinking, oh, it's just a matter of time. As probably on a lot of lakes, there's a known bite time when the fish always bite. It's like clockwork, they say. And previous to that, none of my bites had ever come at this bite time. The last two that I had were in the middle of the night. I think that was like 12 and 2 o'clock. So yeah, 7 o'clock bite time. I've never seen it. I'm always sitting there drinking tea after tea after tea at 7 o'clock, and bite time just sails past. So yeah, I remember sitting there, not having nothing. Fish were showing, and now the time's ticking on. It's about 8:30. I think I spoke to Josh again, as usual. He's probably bored now of that. I've rung him and explained to him like I might move. I could hear him shine elsewhere. This time it was probably about 8:30 in the morning, 8:45. So I stood at the front of the swim, chilled there for about 10 minutes, looked back at the brolly and thought, right, where am I going to start? I thought, nah, right, give it another 15. I'm going to wait another 15 minutes. So I climbed up the tree in the swim. It's quite foresty where I am. So I climbed up this big tree and was just watching this other part. And I got beep on the siren in my pocket. So I've looked down, thinking, right, but there were some swans coming across. So I'm thinking, it's the swans. So I carried on looking at it. I thought, right, let me look at the spot. I've looked down at the spot. I'm thinking, right, okay, beep again. I'm like, right, jump down the tree. And as I've jumped down the tree, the rod tip I can see bouncing. So I've picked up into the rod, started playing it, chucked the waders on, but there's a load of weed right in front of me. Probably from about 20 yards out, probably about 40 yards it goes. You pull through it, but I just didn't want to have the hassle of trying to bring it all the way back through it and everything. As I say, I hadn't had this. I'm going on now for nearly 30 nights without a fish. So I bullied it in, got it into sort of the margins, and the margins are quite deep, so just let it plod around there. Netted it. It was a nice common. Stacked it in the net, unhooked it, changed the rig over, wrapped my rod back up, rung Josh, like a little school kid at Christmas. I've got one in the net, where are you? Come take a picture. I know it's not big, but you come take the pictures for me. So Josh said, yeah, no worries, I'll come. So Josh is like 10 minutes away. I've texted Rick, I've got one, Rick. So Rick's rung me and literally was chatting to Rick on the phone, and the middle rod's just smashed down on the alarm. No, not even a beep. So I've looked and it's in. I'm like, Rick, I've got another one. So I've thrown the phone on the floor, playing it. Josh is now run me back. He's like, yeah, I'm on the way down. I'm like, Josh, I've got another one. He's like, what? I've got another one. So I'm going. I've thrown the phone down, playing it. And this one it's budding me. It's taking me to the weed bed, then it's taking me to the reeds, back to the weed bed. I'm thinking, pouring and going. I'm in the water in my waders, playing. Managed to get it through all the weeds, and now it's literally 20 yards away from me. Playing it, bang! Hook pull. I'm like, I can't believe this. But positive, I still had one in the net. So I'm just there, I'm like, Josh has now rung me, I'm here. I'm like, all right, no worries, give me literally 2 minutes. But I've lost the fish. So he's come down, he's like expecting to see 2 in the net. And there's only one. He said, what happened? I said, I lost it. So got the pictures done. Lovely, pristine 31-pound common. Couldn't moan at all. So yeah, got the pictures done. It was on cloud 9. Absolutely buzzing. Sitting there, had a couple of cups of tea, made Josh a bit of breakfast, a couple of bacon sandwiches. We was just sitting relaxing. Josh said to me, I'm going to pop up to the shop, do you want anything? I said, right, just grab us some water and a packet of Coronas. So Josh has gone up to the shop, come back, we're just sitting there relaxing. And yeah, the middle rod just beep. And I've just Josh sitting in front of me, in front of the brolly, and I've just launched off of him. Just picked up the rod and I can just felt straight away it was a good fish. And I just playing it. Josh has helped me get into the waders. I'm there in the water, playing. I'm trying to keep it away from the weed. Managed to get it in front of me. It's diving deep down into the margins. I'm thinking, oh, here we go. And I've got a glimpse of it as it's come up. And I've looked back at Josh and I've said, well, it's a fish that I want, really. So he hasn't said anything. He's just kept completely quiet, playing it, and it's come up. So I've grabbed the net, chucked the net out, got it in the net, gone to pull back the net, and having a 2-piece net, the pole, the second piece has come out. So now I've only got 6 foot of landing net in my hand. I had to throw that down, and now the fish go boom, back out, and think, but now I know what fish it is, and I'm thinking, oh my God. I'm saying to him, like, then I'm having to try and compose myself. So I've grabbed my other net. Lucky people say, why do you have 2 nets? Big time 2 nets. No, that is the reason why you have 2 nets, because things like that. So I've grabbed the other net, chucked it out in front of me, played it back up, and now I know what fish it is. I'm telling myself, Leon, keep calm, composure. It's got in, and I've just screamed, like, I don't know, I just shouted. Ain't the biggest fish in the lake, don't get me wrong, but it is probably one of the best looking fish that I think I've ever seen. Ever. I don't think I'll probably catch a nicer looking, fully scaled again. I was over the moon. Josh was there to witness it with me. Lucky enough, he didn't even have to go to work that afternoon as well. So again, stacked it in the net, sat back down at the brolly, and I just had to try and take it all in. I just could not believe that I had caught a 39 pound, 14, fully scaled. It just blew me away. So yeah, got the photos done. Josh got some cracking photos, and I can't thank him enough for that. Yeah, slipped to her back, and I just sat there really. I had another night, but to be honest, I didn't even care if I didn't catch. I was just literally over the moon that I'd caught that fish. So now the weekend's passed, you know, done my shifts at work, and full moon. So people can talk about full moons all they want. People say, it's just a luck. Some people believe in them. I believe in them. I fish them when I can, and I always will fish them. And again, referring back to it, it brings a nice pressure with it. And that nice pressure suited where I wanted to be. So I had 3 nights. 3 nights to go. Got down to the lake. As I say, low pressure, full moon was coming. I was thinking, yeah, it's looking good, it's looking good. Got into the swim. Actually, previous to that, I had a walk around, spoke to one of the other members, and we was having little conversations. He asked me where I was going to go. I told him where I was going to go. And he's one of the guys that normally fishes on the same day as me, so we get on quite well, to be fair. So I had a quick chat. I said, right, I'm gonna get around there, get my gear done, get the rod sorted out. I'd fished it before, so I knew where I wanted to be. There was one spot. Well, the left-hand rod, I just knew that I wanted to fish it somewhere else. I didn't want to put it out there, to where the other 2 were going to be. So I thought, right, get 2 set up. I can get the other one sorted out. Sat there. Got the rods out. While I was chatting to the other member, we'd spoke about bait and whether they were going to eat bait and whether they were going to come out to the bait anymore or whether they were slowing down. And I said to him, I'm going to put it in. And he sort of laughed. And I said, well, if it happens, it happens. So first night, nothing happened. I'm a bit suspect of wanting to leave my rods out as well during the day on there, really. But I thought I'll leave them out. Nothing happened through the day. Left them out all evening. I thought, right, they were sitting perfect. I know they went out perfect. I ain't going to bring them back in. They're going to stay. Saw the night through. Could hear them. Boom, 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 and I'm thinking, Spoke to Josh, spoke to Rick the next day. They were both fishing. They were saying to me, no, like, it's going to happen. Like, saying one of us is going to catch something. So I put probably about another 2 kilo out that night, my last night leading into my final morning. Just in the hope, you know, something fresh out there, they might come onto it. About 10 o'clock, they started to show. And I heard a lump show. And I texted Josh and I said, they're dancing. And he was like, all right, well, shout me if you have anything. So I said, yeah, no problem. So yeah, the night drew in. Got into bed probably about 12 o'clock. Laid in bed, tossing and turning. Couldn't really get to sleep too much. And I just heard beep on the siren. Just looked to the right at the brolly, peering through the mesh, and my rod tip was just bending like down. And I jumped out, chucked the waders on. It was pissing down with rain. I've thrown the waterproofs on. I'm out there and I'm just playing it, and it's just pitch black. I thought, I don't even want to put the head torch on. But it's load of stumps and snaggy bits in front of me, and I'm thinking, right. So as I knew I could see it plodding in and whatnot, didn't really give me much of a fight. Got it in. Now it's probably 10 yards away from me now, where it could get a little bit dangerous with the snags and stuff. So I've put my head torch on just to get it passed out on the green light, and I've seen a set of shoulders, and I thought, man, that looks alright, to be fair. So netted it in, and I've just pulled the net in turned the head torch on and I've lifted up the net and, well, it was just like a submarine sitting in there. And as I pulled the net, it's flipped and I've seen a distinctive little detail on the fish, and straight away I knew what fish it was. Stacked her up, unhooked it. I've rung Josh. Josh was fishing. Josh ain't answered. I've rung him about 5 times. He ain't answered. So he was fishing with Snedden. So I've rung Snedden. Snedden's like, hello, middle of the night. I was like, Snedden. He's like, what? I've got her. He's like, what? I've got her. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, go and wake Josh up. I've got her. And he's like, all right. So he's gone and woke Josh. I've said to Josh, I've got her. I was like, you need to come take the pictures. So Josh is now like half asleep, but as I rung Josh's alarm screamed off. So Josh is now jumped out of his, had to play a fish, landed his fish. So Josh has now come over. I'm sitting there, I'm just on like cloud 9. Like, I could not text Rick, I've got her. He's like, no way. I'm like, I'm telling you, I've got it. He's like, what's your way? I'm like, Rick, it's a new PB. I ain't even gonna wait. But all I know is that is a new PB sitting in that net. I knew it come out previous to one of the other members, around £44. So yeah, I knew it was gonna be a new PB. Just sat there really waiting for Josh to come. Drinking tea after tea, walking out in the waders, looking in the net, walking back, looking in the net, just couldn't believe that I'd caught it. And again, it's not even the biggest fish in the lake. There's still a fish in there that's bigger than it. And yeah, Josh has come. The excitement on my face must have been mad. And in fairness to Josh missed my other PB. Before that, he'd gone home and then I hooked a fish and it managed to be my PB, but he had gone to Newcastle or something, so he wasn't there. So he was actually there to see the fish. And the most amazing thing about it is, previous to this, I'd said to him, I'm going to catch this fish and I'm going to catch this fish, and I gave him an order. And so far I've got 2 of them right. So a new PB at £45 too. Couldn't believe it. Josh done me some fantastic pictures, and the story ends there. And hopefully I will be back here soon to tell another story of, or we'll continue the story of how I'm getting on. And yeah, that's it.
Sick. Mate, the fucking battery was red. No, just you see me do that. You legend.
That's calm,
you
man.
legend.